Maybe it's the little girl in all of us, but since the fashion world has bowed to the bow again, you know the trend will spill over, and where it might land is at your front door. This is our favorite floral designer. She's here and she has been bedazzled. Flowers and ribbons have a fresh new connection, and it's always fun when floral designer Brynn Larsen makes it back to Studio 5. Hello.
Thank you for having me.
You and I were talking about the bow. Do we love it? Do we hate
Yes.
it? But you've had your eye on an idea for us for a while here at Studio 5.
And it's really funny because usually I'm like so anti-bow.
Okay.
Like every time I come on, I'm like, just tie a knot, no bow. But
I'm pro bow, by the way.
Listen, I'm into the bow. I have to admit it. I've been seeing it pop up and I've just been so inspired by it. It's just such a fun, fresh take on bows. Like when I first started doing flowers, there's these big wired, like humongous bows, you know? So I always love like a fresh take on something old that we can bring back that's kind of interesting and different, so that when people come to your house, they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen that before.
No.
And I love that.
These photos, I have never seen bows on grapes. I've never seen a lot of these bow placements before.
So we're gonna put a bow on everything,
We're gonna put a bow on it. Okay,
put a bow on it.
She's now become pro bow. Okay, and you know, these ideas that you brought here for us today, you have at least two things we're gonna talk about that anyone can do.
Yes, anyone can do.
Okay.
Anyone can do. If you have ribbon, and you have a wreath, you can put a bow on it.
Okay, let's start with these wreaths right here.
So this is one that I love. It's a little bit spooky. It's so easy. Just a stick wreath. This one was brown. I sprayed it black to make it a little bit spooky. And then different little thin ribbons just tied in bows. It's so easy. I love the long hanging ribbon. Just have fun with it. There are no rules.
Yeah, you actually use different types of bow too. It's not all the same. It's not all the same thickness.
There's a grosgrain and a satin ribbon, so you can play. And then this one has velvet. So this fall wreath is like local dried things from local farms, which is really fun. And the velvet is so rich and pretty for fall. So really play with texture and different sizes of ribbon to get the look that you want.
And with this fall wreath, is this something you put together?
Yes.
Okay, so you collected all of this foliage and put it together and then just threw the bows in. Now, on the fall wreath, it looks like you did use the exact same ribbon all over the place.
I did. I used the same one all over. I love that velvet. I love that color. And it played with that orange and gold tones so pretty. So I just used the same one.
Okay, before we get to our second project, can we just talk for a second about where kind of we saw some of the photos there, but where were you seeing bows pop back into your life where you were like, yes, yes, I like this?
Different florists that I follow on Instagram and different creators. I love Australian florists. They're one of my very favorite things to get inspiration from. So I was seeing it there, seeing them add them to like bouquets of flowers where they're just adding a long skinny bow to tall strands, and then seeing it on Pinterest too, seeing the different ways they're adding it to glasses on tables or silverware or candlesticks like this one. I love this like maximalist feel of the candlestick. So you could find candlesticks at the DI, you know, and it doesn't really matter what they look like if you're gonna cover them in ribbon. It would be such a pretty tablescape for the holidays. I know it's too soon.
No, no, no.
We're gonna
talk a little holidays today. It's fine. Okay, so let's talk about these candlesticks, because this is something else. You said we can all do this and it just makes a statement.
Right, it's so easy. So these are antique candlesticks that I use all the time. I love a really tall taper, little bit dramatic, which I love. And this, I just started at the bottom and just start tying bows and add it so it's really thick and lush. You can do all the same color. You could add a pop of color. Depends on like what you want to do on your table.
I do feel like a lot of people have a hard time judging the length of their ribbon. Do you leave it on the spool as you're tying the ribbons and then cut?
Okay. I do. And then once you do one, you could actually measure that ribbon and just cut them all the same length. This I kind of like having different lengths, so you could kind of play with that a little bit. And I always say cut longer, because you can always cut more off, but you can't add more.
And you did these loops pretty flopsy on all of your ribbons, I'm seeing.
And you could use a wired ribbon if you want it to look a little more structured. You could get a ribbon that has a wire on both sides. But this, I just loved the silkiness and the drapiness of it. It just looks, I like need some macarons and a little cake next to it.
Do you have some good sourcing for us on two things I want to say? First of all, big tapers. I think those are hard to find, and then also ribbon.
Yes, so you can look online. Hoya Candles is a good one online. They have tons of colors. So you can look there. Amazon is great. Before you order a lot, I'd just get one of the color that you want, like one pack, so you can make sure. I think color is hard to find online.
And that it's going to fit the candlestick.
Right. Okay. I'm
You
glad
have a
you
trick?
said that.
Okay.
This is called Stickum. It's like this wax that you can roll the bottom of your candle in. Like
And this is what's going to help
and
it
this helps
fit.
it stick. I
Oh
hate when your
my.
tapers are falling out of your candlestick, so you just put some of that wax on there, and it just helps it stick in the candle.
Okay,
which
stick
I
them,
love.
everybody,
Stick
because
'em.
I have that
Gotta go
issue all
get
the
it.
time, and I've been putting little things of toilet paper around the bottoms. So this
Well, now
will
you know.
work a little bit better.
Stickum is the best. So you can just put those ribbons around your candlesticks and put them down the center of your table, and it would be so pretty.
Can we talk about this tall arrangement over here? Tell me about the ribbons
Yes,
in that.
I love the drama of this one.
Yeah.
This is all florals from local farms, which I love. The dahlias right now in the local farms are exploding, so it was really fun to add that pop of color, a little drama, spooky arrangement. And I love the long bows on those branches. You could do this at home with a big vase with just, fall foliage from your yard and add some bows and put it at your big entry table.
And do we need water in that vase? I know this is a very practical
Yeah,
question.
if it's live foliage,
Okay.
I would. If you have like branches from your yard, you
It's
could
fine.
just put branches and have that the whole season. Or faux, if you have faux branches, you can do that and you don't need water.
And just
but it's something that can
leaving
stay the whole
those
season.
really long. And then let's talk about just this
Yes.
little arrangement here with the roses, because I'm sure most people would think to wrap the ribbon around the vase. You've wrapped it around the individual stems.
Yeah, I love that it just gives a little extra something to these tall stems. I love, when I first started doing flowers, like roundy moundy is what we call it, when everything was just round.
Yes, I remember.
I love having different heights and dimension, and then this just brings a little extra something to it. So you could get a little bouquet, have it kind of wild, and add some ribbons to it. You could do, some that are a contrasting, like color blocky color, which would be fun to get a pop of color. Really, you can just have so much fun
Have
with
fun.
it. Yeah.
Let's finally talk about this centerpiece that you brought here. What do we do with ribbons on this?
This has some Dusty Miller in it, which is kind of velvety, which I love. So I used a gray velvet ribbon and then just made little bows to attach down the front of the ribbon to make it just drapey and pretty with that hanging amaranthus down the front, which is another fall favorite flower.
And you saw on those ribbons, I hadn't seen that tactic before, where you're tying a bow and then going down a little bit, tying another bow, going down a little bit, tying another bow.
Yeah, it was fun. I just kind of kept playing with it. I'm like, well, let's just add more bows while we're doing it.
I love it. Okay, so where can people get more from you, ideas,
Sure.
get flowers from you?
Yeah, so my shop is Blooms & Company, and it's in Mill Creek, and you can find us there or online at Blooms & Company. Yeah.
Thank you, Brynn.
Thank you so much.